Hello and welcome to Fearless DIY Music. My name is Tristan Lass, and today I want to talk about guitar effects pedals that may be just a little bit too complicated to use in a meaningful, or I guess the better word would be enjoyable way. I find that if a guitar pedal has more than 4 knobs on it, I kind of start to glaze over a little bit. If it has switches that are difficult to get to, like little push button switches and things like that, I also glaze over. And if there are menus involved, by pressing multiple buttons at once or holding something for 3 seconds and then toggling with another switch for 1 second or whatever the protocols are, I find that I do not keep these kinds of pedals on my board for very long. I will sometimes employ them in the studio as a special effect, where I have it sitting on the desk in front of me, where I can manipulate it. But as far as having it at my feet and playing in real time, overly complicated guitar effects just do not work for me. I am making this video for those who feel the same, or for those who don't feel the same and can educate me in the comments and maybe, encourage me to dive a little deeper in. So I wanted to show some examples of what I'm talking about, and I want to start with a pedal that I coveted. And I do like one setting on it, and I kind of keep it there and just use it for one thing only. But I researched and dreamt about getting this pedal for a very long time before I got it. And it's the Alexander Syntax Error. And the main reason I wanted this pedal is because it has a really cool ring modulator in it. It's hard to find usable ring modulation effects that have a lot of flexibility. And this does fit the bill. However, it is a 4-function pedal. It has, let's see what all it has in here. It has like a cube function. It has kind of a distortion function. Well, maybe that is the cube function. And then, it's got a weird glitchy delay. It kind of has a noise generator, and then it also has the ring modulation. There is a button right here that you push to go into, the different modes. You push it once and it's on the greens, and then you push it again and it's on the reds. And then you can also go into another submenu by holding this, and that changes the functions of the knobs. It has an expression pedal input, and it also has the ability to do presets that ramp into each other. Now, have I used any of those functions? No. I have looked at the manual online, and I just immediately am not only intimidated, but I just don't think that I can, truly embrace or, completely comprehend all the different functions that this pedal has. It also has the ability to hook up to your computer for even more flexibility. But what I like about it is just the simple ring modulation. Here's the issue though. When you turn the pedal off, or it is powered off, because I always power my boards off when I'm done with them. I don't leave them on standby or anything because I don't want my pedals, to have juice running through them 24/7. If it resets, it does not stay in the ring modulation mode. It defaults to a different mode. So for me to use it, I have to go and I have to press the little red button. I can't just, hit it with my foot and have ring modulation. I have to remember to do that. So if I'm in the middle of something and I'm playing and I click this on, it is in the weird glitchy like delay thing or some other setting that is of no use to me. So this pedal has been kicked off my board. It is a $200 pedal. It is an amazing piece of technology, but its usability for someone like me, or for what I need it for, is quite simply not there. I also take issue with things that have okay, you can link another pedal to this pedal, like, an expression pedal, or some, I know JHS has those little satellite, foot switch pedals that they're like, oh, if you get this and then hook it up to the pedal, then you can, hit the mod control on the fly or whatever it is. And I find that if you have to have an accessory for an accessory, I find that a bit troubling or just convoluted as well. So that's my beef with this particular pedal. And we'll move on to the next one. All right. This is kind of an old school, and it's dusty because I don't use it anymore. This is a TC Electronic Nova repeater delay. It sonically sounds really good, but once again, we've got 5 knobs to control parameters. Then we also have 5 push buttons, so you can do, you've got your note increments, so you can do dotted eighths and things like that. It also has different modes for tape and analog and digital and things like that. But then there's a whole other sub bank of parameters here for time. So choosing your milliseconds and things like that. And to be completely blunt about this pedal, while it does sound good, changing a parameter, or if I just want, with my old school analog delay pedal that I use mostly in the studio, it has 3 knobs. I can reach down and twist the one knob, and I'm right where I need to be. It sounds perfect, and the repeats are super intuitive, and it just sounds great no matter what setting I put it on. This one I have to fight and battle through these menus to get it to a place where it is not only doing the timing correct, but it sounds good sonically. And while I appreciate the flexibility of something like this, this is quite simply another example of option paralysis, coupled with the fact that it's just not that usable under my foot. I know that a lot of people love, to have as many delay options as possible in one box. I actually would prefer to have 2 very simple delay pedals, one set at what I want and another one set at another setting that I want, and that's what I end up doing. I use a Boss DD3 along with an analog 3-knob delay, and then I have one set for slow and one set for slap back or quicker repeats. This, while I could do everything with it, I can't do everything with it on the fly, because it's quite simply, you have to bend down, try to read everything, and start punching buttons to get to where you need to be. So once again, another case of there's just too much happening for me with this pedal to make it usable. And then finally, I have here a Mooer Shimverb. This is an excellent little unit. It sounds incredible. But once again, we are getting into the fact that it has, depending on what sonic selection you use, the repeats don't sound that good in some of the sonic settings. So you have to delve in and tweak everything to get a really good sound. But if you want to change that sound, you have to go to 6 mini pots, which I cannot stand these. When I see these on a pedal, this is the only pedal I own that has these on it. And it's just because I like the sound of it. And it's one setting that I still use with it. It doesn't live on a board, trust me. This is a special effect, in my opinion. It also, so anyway, it has the mini pots, which I take issue with. They're tiny. I do not like the way they feel. I do not like the way they look. They are usable, but just barely. I mean, trying to get my fingers in there to turn them. And just the tiniest turn of any of these changes the parameters dramatically. So it has a trails function, which is nice to have, but then it has a little tiny LED based button right here that's really critical, because that's like an octave. And the octave sounds great, but it doesn't stay on if you turn the pedal off, so you have to remember to turn it on if you're going to use that function, and that's pretty much the way that I would use this pedal, that with like a fifth or a third, to get that, beautiful shimmery trailing reverb that this pedal is meant to do. But once again, it's a failure of either engineering or of my imagination to be able to use this pedal on a regular basis under my foot. It's something I can put, once again, on the desk and tweak. And so I almost see this as like being an outboard effect. But yet it's a guitar pedal, and it's supposed to just be at your feet, and you're supposed to be able to use it easily. So I'd like to, and one other quick note, I've been watching the Mythos channel quite a bit, and Mythos pedals are famous for the fact that, the designer Zach, he's all about, simplicity, and having something that sounds good no matter what setting it's on, and that it feels good under the fingers and is easy to use at your foot. And I think that design aesthetic is missing in a lot of pedals these days. And there's no need to cram everything into one pedal. And that is, maybe that's just me. Maybe it's because I'm old and I'm used to like the ancient pedals of yore where there was one knob or two knobs or, oh my goodness, three. And the effects sounded good no matter where you had them set. And you just turned them on and turned them off. And that's what I'm looking for. I think a lot of people are looking for that. And I would just be curious in the comments to hear what everybody else's opinion is on this. I find that pedals that are overly complicated are not inspiring, and they're actually a barrier to my creativity, and that's the last thing a guitar effect should be. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. If you've watched to this point, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. Subscriptions are going up, 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 and I want to keep that going so that we can unlock some things for the channel so that we can make things more interactive. Also, comments, please. Tell me, what do you think? Are some guitar pedals just too complicated to use? Or am I just old and don't understand, or I'm not embracing the new technology? All right, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time with more content. Take care.